Hello everyone, welcome to the Evil Empire. I'm your host, Evil Empire, and this week on the historic feature, it's Vomi's Simic Ramp. Here we have the deck that went 10-0 in the MTGA Zone Historic Open number 9 on August 29th and 30th. This deck is another Nissa deck, so it features, of course, I believe his tournament deck featured 3 of them, but this deck features 4 Nissa Who Shakes the World, which is the main ramp target. We're trying to get to that on turn 3. I also made a couple of changes to the deck to try to make it a little bit better adapted to best of 1, but the deck does have a very tough matchup against the Mono Red Goblins deck. And so one improvement that I tried to make for the best of 1 situation is to main deck some Gargaroth as a way to try to stall the Goblins deck a little bit and to get them maybe bogged down on the board a bit. And that will hopefully enable you to get to your Ugin, which is really your only prayer against the Goblins deck. So Vomi, who is a competitive player and streamer, should check out his Twitch channel out of the Canary Islands in Spain. His, I think, really big innovation to the ramp decks is he is playing 2 copies of Oracle of Moldiah as a way to play extra lands, get a little bit of card advantage off the top of your deck. And I think this is a card in particular where this card's stock is definitely going to tick up after the release of Zendikar Rising, when we get a bunch of landfall payoffs like Lotus Cobra into the format. I think once Lotus Cobra and some of the other Zendikar Rising cards release next week on the 17th, we'll see cards like Oracle of Moldiah and Dryad of the Elysian Grove and Rada, Heart of Keld, and a few other ones that allow you to just play additional land drops and even play from the top of your deck that way, to be cards that maybe their stock will tick up significantly in Historic with all the extra landfall payoffs that are coming around. But otherwise in this deck, I think there's not much to point out other than we're just trying to skip the whole early game. We just don't really want to play anything but ramp cards on turns 1 and 2. And then we're getting from there to either an Uro, which is a 4 of, or a Cultivate as a 4 of. We have 2 Tamiyo here to fuel the Uro, and we also have one other way that's in our mana base to fuel the Uro, which I'll get to in a moment. But Tamiyo also has the big upside where her static ability prevents you from being Thought Seized. And it feels right now like Thought Seize is an absolutely ubiquitous card in the format. So any little edge you can get against that card, especially in the late game, as well as it protects your creatures from being sacrificed to like a Priest of Forgotten Gods activation. So that static ability is not entirely extra text. That will come in handy if we can resolve a Tamiyo and keep it on the battlefield. The 2 Ulamog is an increased number from Vomi was originally running 1 of them. I just felt like Ulamog was bar none, far and away the best ramp payoff in the deck, and I really wanted to draw it a little bit more often. So going from 1 to 2 allows me to get that little bit extra advantage of being able to play Ulamog, which, exiling your opponent's 2 best things and then having a 10/10 indestructible left over is just really the strongest play you can make in Historic right now, I feel. So as far as the mana base goes, we have 1 Blast Zone as a way to deal with problematic permanents. For example, a Skirk Prospector, you can slow the Goblin's deck down a little bit like that, although they usually just draw another Skirk Prospector and it's never a problem for them. They always have that card. Then the Ipnu Rivulet is a way for 1 land to activate, sacrifice itself, and actually put 5 cards, everything that you'll need to activate Uro, directly into the yard. So you almost always target yourself with Ipnu Rivulet. It's a 1 card way to fuel your Uro. And then otherwise we have a pretty standard Simic lands package here. And then the last notable thing is I cut Hydroid Krasis from this deck because of the prevalence of the Jund Sacrifice deck, which recently put 4 copies of 8 into the top 8 of the Mythic Invitational, which was the pro-level debut of Historic going on this weekend, September 10th through the 13th that runs. So we have here a Simic deck that really struggles quite a bit in the adaptation to the best of 1 format, but I did make a few edges here and there to try to just overall improve the deck's playability as a best of one deck. But I do think that Oracle of Moldiah from the Jumpstart set, as well as some other interesting innovations here, make this a fun project to take a look at. And I think one of the interesting things that I'm really looking forward to with the release of Zendikar Rising is the addition of the modal double face cards to this deck. So we can really cut down on our land count and just run a heavier density of spells while still having lands available. Cards like Bala Ged's Recovery I think would be really fantastic, being able to buy back a Tamiyo, which can then buy back other things, and just really playing out of the yard a lot more than most decks are able to handle. The last thing that I think is also notable to mention here, I'm really not happy with Gargaroth as a card. I really would like to put a Cavalier of Thorns in this slot, just because I think it lets us play out of our graveyard a little bit more, maybe buy back a Tamiyo, which is really something that this deck could use. But anyway, those are kind of my overall thoughts about the deck. So this is Vomi's Simic ramp, and we will go take a look at it on the historic ranked ladder. The all ramp hand. I mean, it has Uro. We'll be fine. Okay, we're facing the Goblins deck. This is a very poor matchup. Yeah, tap land feels really bad here. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Oh great, okay, we're in turn 3 Muxus territory. So, would have been nice to play Magic this game, but that's not going to happen here. Alright, so we get to ramp twice at least, that's cool. But, I mean, we're still gonna lose. Oh yeah, we're super dead. Just the deadest of dead. Alright, well they don't have a land at least. But neither do we. We don't really need to gain life just yet. And we'll be able to growth spiral if we do this. Okay, so we're at 6 mana. But, yeah. We're in a lot of trouble here. Tough decision for me next turn whether to play Gargaroth or Nissa. I think it's going to be Gargaroth first, because you can't really protect Nissa without Gargs. But it looks like she's dead either way, so... kind of a moot point. Take 8. Ouch. That hurts. Yeah, not even really a close game at all. Can we do both? Let's see. If we tap this for green, this for green, this for green, this for green, and this for green. Yep, we can. We can do both. Okay, we'll do both.
Together, we will prevail.
Our hinterland harbor.
The land shall conquer you.
We can attack with it. Yeah, this is all pretty pointless. They're just gonna wipe the floor with us next turn. Nissa for sure is dead. So are we. So, it's fitting. Alright, here comes the Muxus. They're gonna sack 4 of their goblins for it. But it's gonna have haste. So, that's a thing. That's exactly what's about to happen. Yep. The Wily, the Instigator. Yeah. Oh, okay, Franco. Even worse. Yeah, we're just dead on board here. Lock. Lock. But we're still dead. Yep. So there you see the problem with this deck is that it's very soft to goblins. Too slow on the draw. Better. I think we actually put back Uro weirdly because we're going to be able to ramp to Oracle if we want to. And we definitely want to. Yeah, it's tough though. Uro's a great card. Oh my goodness, are we playing the mirror? Ipni Rivulet, the mirror? Oh, let's not let them know just yet. This might be a Uro mirror, and I just put back Uro. Nope, okay. We're dealing with an Is It deck. Graveyard, Is It? Okay, they're just gonna keep that on top. They did not put anything with Surveil into the yard. It's not a great sign for us, honestly. Yeah, not the best of looks. That means they really like those cards. Pass with Counterspell up. Nope. Pay life to opt. Interesting. Just getting it out of the way now, I guess. They topped it, so it's what they wanted. Interesting. Some kind of Phoenix deck, maybe? Arclight Phoenix? Could be an Arclight Phoenix deck. Okay, so Oracle. We'll let them know that we're in on their Ipni Rivulet tricks. Yep, and now just ramp into Ugin. Unless Shock is a card that they're playing. Which I don't know that it is. Blue mana. Strategic planning. Fill up the yard. 1 to hand, 2 lands into the yard. Passing with 2 mana up, I'm guessing. Nope, they're gonna use it to kill the Oracle. Yeah. Oh, just a Sprite Drag. Interesting, okay. Well, Gargaroth does have reach, which is good for us. They may have bounce, which will make us very sad. But we'll see. So we can draw Cultivate next turn, that's interesting. Might as well get in here, it's free. Chart a course. Trigger Sprite Dragon. Discard the Phoenix. Okay, so they're going to reanimate the Phoenix this turn, but we have a reach blocker. So they're going to need to get some bounce in there somewhere, which, okay, they're now out of blue mana, so they're not bouncing Gargs. One more to bring back the Phoenix. And I think, honestly, that we probably block the Sprite Dragon if they attack with it. Kill the Oracle here. Yep, here's the Oracle dead. It's already done its work. Just dug us deeper into the deck. Oh dear, it was 2 Phoenixes. Okay, so we go down to 13. Unless they just play defense. Okay, interesting. I think we're just gonna turtle up. Well, it's not gonna have reach, so we're not gonna make that. It's either gain life or draw a card. We don't really need the life right now, so let's draw a card. Okay, good. Hitting land drop here is pretty big. Yes, that's the best card in our deck. I think we'll keep that. Alright, opponent, what do you got against these Gargaroths? Alright, double block. Well, not double block, but block each of them, rather. Opponent must have some way to kill them. That's fine. If they want to expend cards doing that, we're just going to be in better position that way. Let's draw Nissa. Maybe we'll get some landage. Let's gain some life. Whatever, we don't really need that many more cards. Nissa's all the card we need. Alright, so I'm guessing some lightning strikes to finish them off, or some more lava axes. Sure, lava axe. Or sorry, lightning axes. Only for one of them. Okay. That seems great for us. So let's make sure that we tap with Nissa correctly. We want to get rid of it. The auto tapper always tries to mess with us with this. It always gives us the wrong things to tap. It's like, come on. And that. Yeah, we can actually Ugin this turn, which is pretty nasty. And we only have to -2 on it. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, opponent. I agree. Yeah, this is a keep. Looks like our opponent might be Gandalfing. Doing some blue light control shenanigans. Yeah, I think we want this. Yep, Gandalf confirmed. Yeah, we'd be fine drawing a land next turn. Do we want the Cultivate or the Moldiah countered? Probably Cultivate, I guess. We can counter that. Yep. And then let them counter the Gargs. First Nissa, get countered. Okay, they're down to 4 cards in hand. Alright, so let's go for the Cultivate and then resolve it. Yep. I no longer care about Cultivate. Just gonna counter the big stuff from here. Scrying for more counters, or for Teferi perhaps. Both on the top, that's not good for us. Okay, so untap with counterspell up.
Let's hurry.
Let's Nissa first and get it countered. explore. And now I think we have Ulamog next turn, right? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, are we at 9? 7, 8, 9. Yeah,
I know 88 would hone your prowess.
Okay, so we'll exile their Narset, we'll exile their Teferi, but they'll just play another Teferi. Oh, kind of annoying. Oh well, they'll have to use it to tuck at least. Okay, so let's see if they have Counterspell for Ulamog. Doesn't really matter if they do. We're gonna go like this, and like this.
This was overwhelming.
They do not have counter for it, so they're gonna have to tuck it with Teferi. Which means that in a couple of turns, we get to Ulamog again. Which will be fun times.
Time is much more malleable than people think.
Ugin seems good.
Perfection
-5 on Ugin.
not a destination.
They keep the wall. Okay, I'm not really sure what that accomplishes, except, oh yeah, I guess it does shuffle away the Ulamog. That's good for them.
Let me know if you're up for round.
Silence.
So, that's pretty much why Ugin is a bad card, right? Like, it's not going to do anything now. Let's lead with Growth Spiral. Okay. Can we do both? 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8? Yeah, we can. So we're going to lead on Oracle. See what they say. They say they have nothing. 2 lands to the bottom. Or whatever, 2 bad cards to the bottom. Draw a card. And then Tamio, and we're going to look for Nissa.
I would like to ask about any lunar anomalies you have experienced. Let me aid your research.
And we'll get a fresh top of the yard. Play a land off the top. Milled an Uro. Alright, we're in pretty good shape. Let's see what Gandalf has to say. Cycle a sensor, sure. Alright, so next turn buy back Nissa, probably. Yeah. The opponent saw that coming. No ramp. Mulligan. Yeah, this is a keep. Question is, what do we put back? Well, we're going to 3 with Grazer, so I think we put back the Oracle. Oh no, don't play that first. Don't play that first. Oh god. Just barely avoided disaster there. Okay, so this into Uro. Yeah, that seems fine. Because we have Growth Spiral to fall back on if we don't draw the land for Garg. Oh, okay, mono blue. And our Grazer is a very important card that we're glad that we got down first. Alright, looks like we may have a chance at drawing the land for Gargs. Alright, they have Counterspell up. Okay, we drew tap land, so play it. Say go. I mean, I don't think we need another one. It was disappointing the first time we drew it. Spectral Sailor, maybe, at end of turn, or Brineborn Cutthroat. Brineborn Cutthroat is a card that inexplicably sees play in these mono blue decks. I don't like Cutthroat in these decks. I just feel like it's too vulnerable to spot removal, sweeper, blocking. It's just... You want a flying creature, I think, in this deck. Alright, so opponent is content to do nothing. Then we will Growth Spiral on their turn. Draw a card. Play a land if we draw land. Always important to try to act on their turn as much as you can. Okay, so do we have the Gargaroth eat the counterspell or the Cultivate? Probably the Cultivate, right? We want our Gargaroth to actually resolve. They're going to hit this with the counterspell for sure. Don't know why they're pausing here. Thinking about which one to use, maybe? Yeah. Okay. Full price dispersal. Must have been their worst one. Okay, why the attack? Getting bored, maybe? Yeah, we'll explore again. Interesting, those are the only two explore that we have. We just drew them right one after the other. Okay, trying to start clocking us. So we'll take 3 here. Still need one more card in the yard for the Uro. Okay, B-Dash your Octopus. Oh, we'll just put this in the yard. Yeah, okay, that gets one of the better ones. That's good. And we'll escape Uro next turn. Block here. Give them the card. Feels bad. Feels bad, man. Okay, so we don't actually have enough. Like, I didn't count that right. Yeah, okay, we need one more. Alright, so if we do this, can we? Yeah, we'll be fine to escape Uro if we do this. Doesn't matter if they counter it. They won't. I mean, they wouldn't waste a counter spell on an Explore anyway. But they will waste their counter spell on Uro, which is what we want. Okay, so now we escape the Uro. Get it countered. It's really just our strategy against control decks is just to run them out of counters, so you kind of have to keep playing into them, which doesn't feel very good. Yeah, sure. No tax. Oh boy. Now the card draw really gets out of hand. Well, we tried. We tried, fam. We tried. But... okay, yeah, now they've got Terramander live, so they can kill the Arboreal Grazer. They are down to only 2 cards, which is kind of incredible. Let's do this and just eat the damage. We really want to keep them off the cards, even if it means taking a ton. Okay, so let's think about this. We can't do both Nissa and Ugin. And we're definitely very dead next turn. So let's see if this resolves. If not, it's all over. Okay, I guess we should have shocked in that land. Take 10. Feels bad, man. There's nothing we can draw here. We have no outs. we still take 3 and die, but this will feel good. It's a moral victory, okay? Whatever, that doesn't mean anything. The game was over anyway. Yeah, this is a keep. No. Hopefully we'll see you later, Mogfather. Not the right time of the game. Yeah, that's the thing about Ulamog, right? It's only good at one point in the game. The late game. So do that into Oracle. Red, black, no Luris. Interesting. Okay, so Jund maybe? Probably. Jund kitty. At least this doesn't die to claim. Yeah, we'll play off the top of our deck. That seems better than anything else. Okay, so Uro, and then we should have enough mana to activate the Ipnu Rivulet and then bring Uro back the following turn. But if they have Oven, don't know if we really want to have Uro out on the battlefield while they have Oven. And if they have Cat, they always have Oven. It's just the rules. Okay, well no Oven is good for us. Oracle 6 around for another turn, also good for us. Yeah, we'll play a couple forests off the top, why not? Little Uro action. Little Ipnu Rivulet on there. Yeah, we have enough mana to Growth Spiral, and then... Oh, it's unfortunate that we have to mill Nissa. We'll see. Like, I know they're not going to block there, it's free damage, but... We're just so far ahead. Wow, no plays. I think we'll draw Nissa then in that case. Seems better than not drawing a Nissa. Alright, we can do both, so let's just do both. Doesn't matter how we tap here, whatever.
Witness the ties that bind us all.
So Oracle just really putting in work here, just showing what an incredible card it is.
For us.
Okay, play this. -2.
This is fragile.
And then just start plussing on Ugin after this.
Cherish what little you find.
Yeah, get in for 5 and just start clocking them super hard.
Creation can be undone.
Sure, Coco sounds good. I mean, the best they can do here is trade, right? And the worst they can do is pretty bad. Okay, fine. Don't even know if they're gonna really want to trade here. Probably not, honestly. Now they do have a pretty high chance of killing Nissa. They have the Claim the Firstborn in hand. Let's see if they have it. But then they'll need a way to sack with it. Okay, they don't have it, so they can't steal the land. We are definitely trading with whatever they throw. Yeah, sure. Let's take out the Reaper, and we'll just let the Butcher grow one. That's fine.
I am resilient.
Yep, you got it. Lose one, draw one. Yep. Cycle a Sheltered Thicket. Play a Blood Artist, and pass the turn. Okay, so we -2 on Ugin. Yep. Feels good, man.
Reality.
Let's actually wait till after we cultivate, because we don't want that Explorer on top of our deck. Let's just take some lands out of our deck, thin things out. Put the island down, sure, why not? Yep, this will be good. Scry away the Ugin, we already have one, thank you. Okay, scry away Oracle. Play a land? No, okay. We've played enough lands, I guess. Yeah, this game is well and truly ours. And this might be the turn that we activate the Rivulet. Got it. We're attacking for 8 next turn. Alright, so get enough cards in the yard for your Uro. That is step 1 of the plan. Okay, those are all great cards to put in the yard for Uro. Alright, so what's the play here? I think we're gonna plus on the Strider, because it's their best blocker. They're gonna scry, maybe, which is fine. Yep, they sacrificed the goat to scry. They currently have 3 cards. They would need 1 more to be able to escape the Woe Strider, which they can do by blocking with the priest.
Do not ignore my draconic
1,
talent.
2. This is just silly. Okay, so do we even care to cultivate first? I guess we do. I mean, we don't want that on top of our deck. Okay, only 3 lands left in the deck. 1 now. Just 1 left. Bring Ugin to hand, play it. It's getting to be just very, very silly. I don't know what the opponent's doing sticking around. But we're about to play our next Ugin. We can -2 on Ugin to put their priest into exile.
Accept a lesser world, and you will grow lost to history.
Okay, now activate Nissa on the island, because it doesn't matter. Attack you for 8, put you at 2. The game is well and truly in hand, but yeah, there we go. There it goes. Alright, that's game. Alright, we're back with the Cool Kids Club, and my thoughts on Simic Ramp are, wow, this is a silly deck. It does things that just are really, really evil, and I'm feeling pretty happy about it. I think one thing that you saw was the power of Elder Gargaroth in one of the games, just having reach, being a blocker. It was really a toss-up for me between Cavalier of Thorns and Gargaroth. I do think the card advantage that you get out of Gargaroth is a big plus, but not being able to play out of your graveyard the way you can with Cavalier of Thorns is something in Cavalier's favor. So I think something that fills that 5-mana big creature slot is difficult to pick, but I think Gargaroth is getting the slight edge at this point from me, although at the beginning I was not as enthused about it. I think you saw Nissa be the heartbeat of this deck. She shakes the world and she wins the games. And this is really the one that carries the heavy load here. And once she hits the battlefield and is not answered, it's just too much of an engine, and there's just too many busted things we can do between this and Ugin. Ugin the Spirit Dragon is probably the other big key card in the deck that I think maybe even could be a 4 of pretty easily, honestly. And I saw this as really the only form of interaction in the entire deck, so you probably want to max on that if you're making some changes. Otherwise, pretty happy with the ramp shell. Only other thing I might say is you could probably shave a copy or two of Cultivate. You have Uro in the deck as a 3-mana ramp payoff, and it's much, much better than Cultivate. Although Cultivate does have the benefit of bringing that card to hand so you know you're going to hit your next land drop as well. But yeah, those are sort of the only things I could think about as far as wanting to tweak the deck. And then, of course, with the release of Zendikar Rising, that'll be a situation where we can incorporate a lot of those modal double face cards, and we'll get paid double on having a spell and a land. Although you do have to balance that with Oracle having enough land density to play off the top of your deck. So it'll be interesting to see how the release of the new set affects the entire Historic meta, if Jund is able to stay on top, or if perhaps another deck is able to dethrone the Jund Cat deck. So we'll look forward to some of the changes in the metagame after the conclusion of the Invitational this weekend and the release of Zendikar Rising the following week. So, in a way, this tournament is kind of going to have a limited impact on the meta because we're going to get a whole new set of cards. And that's, of course, going to shake everything up. So I've been brewing decks for Historic, looking forward to those Zendikar cards coming into the format. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun with Landfall, and Lotus Cobra in particular is just going to be a really great time. So with that, we're going to put the Historic feature to bed for this week. This is Evil Empire signing off.